Welcome to Conversations with Jen and Mel. This show is about real life with real people, having real conversations, from better health to mental health and more. Let's check out the conversation right now with your host, Jen and Mel.
All right. Welcome to Conversations with
Jen and Mel.
So what we're talking about today? Should I stay or should I go?
All right. So here is today's topic, was suggested by a friend of mine who is interested in a gentleman who is not showing consistency in his efforts to date her. Now, for Mel and I, this is real simple, but I'm going to walk you through her dilemma.
Yeah, we can't name drop today because it's bad.
So she has gone out on 4 or 5 dates with this gentleman over a 3-month period. What she notices, though, is that the conversation or contacts are not consistent or frequent enough for her liking, and that he often has to cancel or reschedule. So a few weeks back, she wrote him a very detailed text saying, I think I'm more into you than you're into me. And so at this time, I think it is best that we discontinue contact because you got some other stuff. It appears that you have some other stuff going on, and that's not what I'm looking for. At that time, he says, you are misunderstanding me.
I want to continue to waste your time.
And I would like to talk with you about this more in more detail in person. Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is kind of, but remember, now this happened a couple weeks ago. So now we're back to the point where she is saying, we had the conversation. I thought we were on the same page, but your actions are showing me there's no changes in the behavior. And so it is best for me to ixnay.
So I did the math on that in my head. And I'm like 4 months. You said 4 months?
3 months, 4 dates.
3 months, 4 days. Okay, so 90 days. So out of 90 days in a new relationship, she was worth 4.
Okay. So I am in agreement that she should go.
Go.
There is no staying for me based on the information that I have. I advise her to go about her business.
So it sounds like, so a man knows if he wants to pursue a woman. And in the beginning, even if a man can't pursue him with who he is, and he has to send out another version of himself, I always call it the quote unquote representative. So even if he has to send out the representative because he wants to tell her and charm her and dazzle her and put his best foot forward in order to, so dude ain't even willing to send out his representative, put in the work. And so whatever he's doing now, he's only becoming more of that. He's already showing you in his behaviors that he's tolerating you versus celebrating you. And you are not his priority.
Yes.
Like he's already showing you, you're not my priority. Like, you know what? You're convenient. Like when I'm bored, I'm going to hit you up. I'm just saying, if I have some spare time, then I'll pencil you in if something else gets erased from my agenda. But I'm not deleting my schedule or changing my life in order to accommodate you. No, you're not the one.
And so what I think about all of that, that, you know, when I was younger, I would have probably tolerated that type of behavior.
Yes.
Because I'm trying to.
Yes. Fill them out.
I don't know if I'm trying to fill them out or if I'm trying to prove my worth or if I really think that if I wait him out,
maybe I can convince him
that things are going to change.
Yeah.
At this stage in my life, that is an absolute no for me.
And one thing that we have to remember is we don't get our time back.
You don't get your time back.
And so don't let anybody waste it. Refuse to allow yourself to be played with and allow anybody to waste your time. You know, you do not have months and years to commit to something dead.
Mm-hmm. And I think that when you meet someone who is into you,
yes,
and you understand how men really work when they like somebody,
yes,
you would never.
Yes.
Because you would.
Men are hunters.
Yes, and you would know right off.
Yes.
He's not into me like that.
He's tolerating me.
I'm not wasting my time.
He's tolerating me. Men are hunters. Men are hunters. And so I've only had to date. I'm so grateful for that. Thank God. I've only had to date a very short period of time in the last decade plus, you know, because I was married and divorced and single for 2 minutes and 2 seconds. But men know what they want. Mm. And even if they can't actually, even if they just can't even operate in that way, or their actions don't line up with what they want, because even though they want it, they don't have the strength to perform it because it's so out of character for them. Because sometimes a man can say, oh, that's what I want, but they're not willing to sacrifice themselves to put in the work. Because they've been doing what they've been doing so long, they don't even know how to pencil you in. Like, I remember at one point it was this doctor that was interested, but he has spent his life working so much. His lack of consistency was a turnoff for me. It didn't matter that he was at work to me. Like, okay, so if you can't even take the time out of your schedule to shoot me a text in the morning to break up your cycle or whatever it is, then to me that shows that you're not interested enough. I don't mind that you're at work, but you mean you can't send me a text? Mm-hmm. You can't call me in transit? And so just the idea that you can't find time to pencil me in, because if your kids call, then it's going down. If somebody calls you for something else, you're going to make time. But if you have no time for me, then no, I'm not your priority. Mm-hmm. Then I'm not the one. Men make time and people make time for what they want.
So, scenario number 1, go. Run, girl.
Okay, so should I stay or should I go? So, I was talking to this young lady, and I don't know if I talked about this in a previous episode. And we've been having this conversation and it's been an ongoing conversation. And she keeps saying to me, if he could only act like or exhibit these behaviors, if he can only do this right, only do that right, and only, I'm saying, but his name David. You're trying to get him to act like Donovan. They're not the same person. They don't have the same fingerprints. And so what you're requesting from this person, and you keep saying, if they can only do that. So you're telling me that really you're not okay with who he is, and in order for you to accept him, you want him to change. No, you need to go. If your only agenda is to change who he is, then you probably need to go. You need to haul
tail out of there.
Yeah. If you are constantly in a state of, if he can only, I'll be okay. That's not who he is. And it is irrational and delusional for us to just think that, okay, well, he'll change eventually. Or if I'm in the relationship long enough, if I marry him like that, hopefully he'll change. No, he's probably going to become more of who he is. He may change, but the opportunity for him to change, it will be on him. Like, he'll change because he chooses to.
Right. I would say that also.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we do a lot of that as women. We do a lot of that, you know? And men, if you gotta save her and rescue her, and the relationship is constantly one-sided, and you feel like you don't have a partner in her, then you probably need to reevaluate. And this is the example that I'm going to use in this one. So I was talking to a gentleman lately, and he's well-to-do, he's a well-off guy, you know. And he was like, you know, I can have any woman I want. And I've had some, and I like them beautiful, so that's what I have. But I realized I think I was paying for sex because there was no partnership, there was no collaboration. Like, I was doing and I was giving, and nothing I gave was enough, but in return, that's what I got. And after a while, I realized I deserve more than just that type of satisfaction, and growing to a place where you desire partnership. And so we have to watch what we wish for. Yeah. We have to watch what we ask for, because sometimes we're in a position where we're saying, okay, I want company, or I want somebody to be there, or I want a mate versus I want a marriage. Mm-hmm. And then we enter into covenant with somebody we probably never should have committed to, when they were there to go out to dinner and not go to the altar with. I'm saying, you know, so sometimes we need to watch that. We need to watch what should I stay or should I go? And so what is it going to look like long term?
You won't still be paying for sex. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And you're going to pay for everything else for her to continue to look like your ideal. Mm-hmm. You're going to pay for that.
Mm-hmm. Long term.
And not have any substance. And then she's going to divorce you. But that's...
And wait a minute, and it's a whole process.
She going to bounce on you, bro.
Mm-hmm. Well, because it's not based on anything. It's not based on anything. Yeah, it's not.
Because you can never make enough money.
Mm-mm. You're gonna work too much. Yeah, she gonna find something that she's interested in while you working too much, while you coming home and paying her bills. She gonna find something to do while you doing that, because she's doing absolutely nothing. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Guys, don't marry an idle woman. I'm just saying, don't marry an idle woman. I don't care if she crocheting, but don't marry an idle woman. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. And women, if he has no vision and he has no idea of where he's going or what he wants to do, or better yet, he is doing something close to nothing, you might want to observe him a little bit longer before you decide that you want to commit to that. I mean, it's okay to date it, but you know, you got to put it on a time frame as to, you can't be 48 and you working at the car wash in the winter.
Oh, goodness.
And that's your main gig. I'm just saying. So sometimes we have to talk about, okay, what's the plan?
What's the plan?
And should I stay or should I go? What do they fit in my future?
Yes, that's what I was going to say. What is your plan for your future?
Yes.
Because sometimes the car wash guy may fit into your plan.
He may fit into your plan.
Fit into my plan, but he might fit into your plan.
Fit into Oprah's plan.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't no broke.
Who, Mr. Oprah? Mr.
I'm not calling that man that.
So, should I stay or should I go? So what do we say?
I think if you have to ask the question, you should go.
And the issue is that is if someone is asking the question, then there's something in them that's saying
You should go. You're just trying to come up with the reasons to stay.
Yes.
You want somebody
Exactly
to tell
that.
you why you should stay.
exactly that.
When you already know.
Because nothing in me tells me that I need to leave my king. I'm just saying, I don't care if you make more money. I don't care if, you know, I don't care if you're taller, slimmer, shorter, fatter. I don't care if your feet bigger or, your hair longer or I don't care. I understand that I've got what's for me, that's working for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm over here eating soul food. I'm not about to trade it in for jail food.
Exactly.
Or better yet, prison slop. I'm not doing that. I understand, but you got to understand the value in what you have. Should I stay or should I go? And if you're contemplating going, you probably, like you said, need to go. Especially before you committed to it.
Especially.
I have had some therapy sessions with some wives. I was like, why haven't you hard?
Okay, why?
Because he's habitual about his infidelity. Like, women are his addiction.
Okay.
Women is the addiction. A woman is the addiction. That's Should I stay or should I go? Well, I think a lot of times we don't go because we always talk about this because we fear the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And so I've seen women stay in places and be traumatized, to the point where they feel worthless and their self-esteem has been trampled on so bad because of the relationship and the level of abuse that she's experienced, the level of neglect that she's experienced, and just dealing with a whore as a husband or a spouse in a relationship, and how she's internalized so much that she is walking around just broken.
Mm-hmm.
Should I stay or should I go? And they don't go because they fear the unknown.
Okay, well, I ain't gonna make you go if you don't want to go, but you're gonna stop asking me.
Yeah. Should I stay? And should I go? And there's this other case where in the beginning the guy was throwing money at it. And so the woman is someone who's used to so many materialistic things.
Mm-hmm.
And so she's been able to provide so many materialistic things for herself. And he came showering her with gifts. And then he left. And when he came back, he had 2 more kids, went back home to his wife. Then he came back and he had 2 other kids, and he came back different. So when he first came, he showered her with gifts, and she fell in love with that. I don't think she ever fell in love with the man, because I don't think she ever knew the man. I think that she fell in love with everything that was provided by the man. But when he came back, he didn't have that to provide. So he came back taken, and she wasn't able to identify the fact that I don't really like him that much. I really liked what he did for me, and I really don't like his kids.
Go.
Exactly. But to the end, she was she kept replaying this and rehearsing this and doing this over and over, and all the reasons as to why she should stay so she will fall back. And I said, pray about it. You know, to the point where they were engaged, I said, pray about it. And every time it would just tear down.
Mm-hmm.
I said, now you can go and keep fixing this if you want to. But when I tell you pray about it, be ready for the answer. And so God will come and destroy it and she'll go back and rebuild it. And it has just perpetuated. It's just a waste of more and more time. More and more time, more and more time, more and more time, more effort, more energy, more of her youth being exhausted. And just, should I stay or should I go? And so she keeps hoping on the potential of what could be versus what is. And that's a bad place to be, to fall in love with the possibility of what could be and commit to that. You know, like we were talking about, if. So if he didn't have his kids.
But he do.
They're part of him. Like, you know. If he didn't have his kids. Yeah. So should I stay or should I go? If you feel like somebody needs to choose between, a man needs to choose or a woman needs to choose between you and their children, their minor children, then that's a hard situation to put a parent in before. Yeah. Oh, hold on. There's another one. Should I stay or should I go? Women.
She done got excited.
The way you handle your sons. When you make the sons the men of the household, and then when you get a man, the son still stays the man of the household. I'm sorry, but whoever is dating you needs to haul. And what are you teaching your son if they see you treat a man like that? You know, what are you teaching your son if you give him position that he has not earned? What are you teaching your son if you're enabling him? What are you teaching your son? How is your son becoming a man because you have handed him the keys to your household and put your man out? I'm saying, so what? And I see women do it all the time. They keep choosing their sons over their husbands over and over again. And not just their sons, their grown sons. Like, no. Before you make covenant with that, guys, I would take that as a warning. Yeah, I would take that as a warning. You know. I don't understand that scenario. And I see too many women doing it.
So tell me about it. What does that look like?
It looks like the man not being content with the child that's living in the house, the adult child that doesn't respect the man, and the mother still tolerates it. Mm-hmm. And the child is grown now, of age, has an income, needs to find their own place and do something different, but they'll be okay with their husband being disrespected, being dishonored in their own home, or their boyfriends, dating, and the son, when a boyfriend comes over, the son is disrespectful and just dishonoring and just unruly. And the mother just makes excuses. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it over and over again. I've seen it. Women they would choose their adult son over their husband, or their husband, their boyfriend, their whatever, their mate, yeah. I don't understand the dynamics of that, really. I understand that mother and son relationship, but I don't understand why it's such a priority that you prioritize them over what you're in covenant with. I don't know.
Okay.
When friction happens between the son and the husband, you put the husband out. I'm just saying. Or you want everybody to stay. There's no time when you actually take the husband's side. is always, no, I've seen that too many times. And so should I stay or should I go? If you see those signs,
you saying should he stay or should he go?
I'm saying if you're dating someone and you see those signs, or even if it's vice versa, if you say dating somebody and you see those signs, then you probably need to reassess that. Because if they're not ready to honor you over their children, I didn't say prioritize their children. I mean to honor you above their children. Because it's one thing for a parent or somebody to say, you know what? And you know what? That is why God did family a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
Because he wanted it to be built in a certain structure. And sometimes we look at God like, God was trying to discipline us and keep us from some things, but he understood that the husband and wife were the foundation of the family. And so we have a hard time with when we've had children outside of wedlock, when that spouse comes, making them the foundation of the family, when the children have always been the foundation. And so we've made all these sacrifices for the children and don't understand that the first foundation of the family is the husband and wife, and everything is built upon it. And so now we're built on parenting, and then the marriage is just stacked on top of it.
Okay.
And so we've become accustomed to making the sacrifices for the children, but we won't make the same sacrifice for our mate. Yeah.
Should I stay or should I go?
I think when you see signs of that, those are the hard conversations, because it's not that easy to break up that cycle. It's not broken with a conversation. So when you see that, you really need to assess the situation, because it seems like it falls on deaf ears after they've done it so long. Because that's all they know. All they know is, well, these are my babies. These are my children. No, these niggas grown. These ain't nobody's babies, These grown men. Oh, but these are my babies. No, they grown. But yeah.
Okay. They may be grown.
They may be grown.
They may be grown.
They may be grown. I think sometimes it's too many men in the same house. And sometimes it's too many women. But mostly I see it with men. It's too many men in the same house. It's a hard thing when it's too many men under the same roof, because only one man can be the head. But if one man has been in position that long, and that mother has allowed that son to occupy that position, that son doesn't relinquish it, and in her mind, she doesn't even, yeah. And so now it's a power struggle between, between two men. And somebody's got to bow. And the sad part is when it has to be the husband that bows. Well, should I stay or should I go? What do you say? So stay tuned for more conversations with Jen and Mel.
I hope you enjoyed this episode of Conversations with Jen and Mel. Please join us every Monday at 8 p.m. for new episodes on Facebook, YouTube, Rick.tv, and the Rick TV app by way of Apple TV, Fire TV, and Roku. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Join us again next time on Conversations with Jen and Mel.